The Sassanian Empire was a powerful Persian dynasty that rivaled Rome in cultural sophistication, expanding Persia's influence and identity. Founded by Ardashir I in the 3rd century CE, it revived Persian traditions and established Zoroastrianism as the state religion. The empire flourished artistically, producing grand architecture like the Taq Kasra and intricate metalwork, influencing later Islamic and Byzantine styles. Militarily, it clashed with Rome but also engaged in cultural exchanges that shaped both empires. Under rulers like Khosrow I, it became a center of learning and reform. Despite its fall to the Islamic Caliphate in the 7th century, its cultural legacy endured, shaping future civilizations. Let's travel to the history. As the Roman Empire was rising in the west, another great power was emerging in the east, one that would rival and even surpass Rome in its cultural sophistication and influence. This was the Sassanian Empire, a Persian dynasty that redefined Persia's identity, expanded its territory, and brought about a flourishing of art, philosophy, and religion. The Sassanian Empire would go on to become a defining chapter in Persian history, leaving behind a legacy that shaped not only the Middle East but the entire ancient world. It all began in the early 3rd century CE, with a ruler named Ardashir I. Ardashir was originally a local ruler in the region of Fars, modern-day southwestern Iran, where he held a deep sense of pride for Persian culture and its ancient traditions. After years of witnessing the decline of the Parthian Empire, which ruled Persia for nearly 500 years but had grown weak and divided, Ardashir seized the moment to bring Persia back to greatness. He envisioned a new Persian empire, one grounded in ancient Persian traditions, Zoroastrian faith, and a sense of unified identity. Through a series of calculated military campaigns, Ardashir defeated the last Parthian king, Artabanus IV, in 224 CE, claiming the title of Shahanshah, or King of Kings, of Persia. This was the beginning of the Sassanian dynasty, which would rule Persia for over 4 centuries. Ardashir had not only created a new empire, he had reignited the Persian identity, and with it, a cultural and religious revival that would define the Sassanian era. At the center of this revival was Zoroastrianism, the ancient Persian religion that taught the duality of good and evil, with the god Ahura Mazda representing truth and righteousness. The Sassanians made Zoroastrianism the official state religion, and this faith became deeply intertwined with their governance. Fire temples, where the sacred flame was kept perpetually lit, became a focal point of religious life. Zoroastrianism emphasized the importance of justice, morality, and respect for the natural world, values that permeated Sassanian society. Under Sassanian rule, the Magi, or Zoroastrian priests, wielded significant influence, not only leading religious ceremonies but also acting as advisors to the king. The establishment of Zoroastrianism as the state religion gave the empire a unique identity that set it apart from the Roman and Byzantine empires, which practiced Christianity. It fostered a sense of unity among the people, as they saw themselves as defenders of their sacred beliefs and culture against the encroaching influence of their Western rivals, with the empire unified and Zoroastrianism as its spiritual foundation. The Sassanian rulers turned their attention to culture, giving rise to a golden age of Persian art, architecture, and intellectual achievement. The capital city of Ctesiphon, located near modern-day Baghdad, became a bustling center of trade and cultural exchange. Merchants from India, China, and the Mediterranean would gather in Ctesiphon, bringing not only goods but also ideas that would inspire Persian artists and scholars. The Sassanians are perhaps best known for their majestic architecture, especially their palaces and fire temples. One of the most famous examples is the Taq Kasra, the Grand Palace at Ctesiphon, which featured a vast archway known as the Iwan. This enormous archway was a testament to Sassanian architectural innovation and has stood the test of time, with remnants visible today. The Sassanian style of vaulted ceilings, intricate stonework, and symmetrical design influenced later Islamic architecture and can be seen in structures across the Middle East. Art during this period was vibrant, full of symbolism, and richly adorned with scenes of royal court life, hunting, and religious iconography. Intricate reliefs and mosaics depicted Sassanian kings in royal attire, surrounded by mythical creatures and Zoroastrian symbols. Metalwork and textiles from this period were also highly prized, with Persian silks, rugs, and silverware finding their way to Europe and Asia. This blend of cultural richness and religious symbolism became known as the Sassanian Renaissance, a period of creativity that would inspire later Islamic, Byzantine, and even medieval European art. As the empire flourished culturally, the Sassanians also maintained a powerful military to protect and expand their borders. They faced a fierce adversary in the Roman Empire, their neighbor to the west, and the two empires clashed repeatedly in a long-standing rivalry. Over the centuries, these conflicts would push both empires to the limits. But neither was able to fully subdue the other. The Sassanians were skilled in both defense and offense, employing heavily armored cavalry known as cataphracts and archers trained in unique Persian techniques. Their army included elite soldiers called the Sovereign, who were renowned for their discipline and bravery. Sassanian kings, like Shapur I, led their armies in epic battles against Rome, even capturing the Roman Emperor Valerian in 260 CE, a rare and humbling defeat for Rome. Shapur famously depicted this triumph in stone reliefs at Naqsh Rustam, a site that still holds the grandeur of the Sassanian victories etched into its cliffs, despite the ongoing conflict with Rome. There were also moments of peace and diplomatic exchange. Persian goods, such as silks and spices, were in high demand in the Roman Empire, while Persian scholars and artists exchanged ideas with their Roman counterparts. This rivalry and cultural exchange between the two empires created a legacy that shaped both Eastern and Western civilizations. The Sassanian kings saw themselves as more than just rulers, they were guardians of Persian culture, patrons of the arts, and protectors of the Zoroastrian faith. This sense of duty was reflected in their titles, such as Shahanshah, King of Kings, and in the elaborate coronation ceremonies, which celebrated the divine mandate of each new king. One of the most notable Sassanian rulers was Khosrow I, also known as Khosrow Anushirvan, or Khosrow the Immortal Soul. He ruled in the 6th century and is remembered for his wisdom, reformist policies, and contributions to science and philosophy. Khosrow established schools, supported the translation of scientific and philosophical texts from Greece and India, and reformed the empire's legal system. Under his rule, the empire reached its zenith in prosperity and intellectual achievement. Khosrow's court became a gathering place for scholars, poets, and scientists from across the world, including famous Greek philosophers and Indian mathematicians. This cross-cultural exchange made the Sassanian Empire a beacon of knowledge, one that preserved ancient wisdom and influenced later Islamic scholars who would carry this knowledge into the Renaissance. Despite its achievements, the Sassanian Empire eventually began to weaken under the pressures of constant warfare, internal strife, and economic strain. By the 7th century, a new and powerful force was rising on Persia's doorstep, the Islamic Caliphate. After the death of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in 632, Arab Muslim forces quickly spread across the Middle East, uniting under the banner of Islam. The Sassanians were unprepared for the rapid and organized advance of the Arab forces, who swept through Persia in a series of decisive battles. The final blow came at the Battle of Al-Qadisiyah in 636 and later at Nahavand in 642, where the Sassanian armies were decisively defeated. The last Sassanian king, Yazdijerd III, fled but was eventually killed, marking the end of the Sassanian dynasty. Persia, which had stood as a cultural and political powerhouse for over 400 years, was now part of the expanding Islamic world. Though the Sassanian Empire fell, its cultural legacy endured. Persian language, art, and ideas continued to flourish, influencing the Islamic Golden Age that followed. Sassanian art and architectural styles were adopted by the Islamic Caliphates, while Persian scholars and poets played key roles in the development of Islamic science, medicine, and literature. Zoroastrianism, though no longer the state religion, remained a respected faith and continued to survive in pockets of Persia, and it remains practiced by some communities to this day. The Sassanian Empire represents one of the most significant periods of Persian history, a time of great cultural achievement and philosophical depth. Through its art, architecture, religion, and scholarship, the Sassanian Empire left an indelible mark on the world, a reminder of Persia's enduring legacy as a beacon of culture and civilization.